Welcome, dear students, to your English literature class, chapter 3, The Gift of the Magi. And this is the part 2 of this chapter. In the previous part of this chapter, you have understood, you have learnt that Jim and Della were the couple, those who were very poor. Then also, even though they were very poor, they wanted to give gifts to each other on the occasion of Christmas. And for that, Della had got her hair cut to purchase a fob chain for her husband Jim. And after that, when she came back home, she started repairing the damages which she had done by generosity with love. So what happened next? That I'm going to start from here. Within 40 minutes, her head was covered with tiny close-lying curls that made her look wonderfully like a truant schoolboy. She looked at her reflection in the mirror long, carefully and critically. This means within 40 minutes. In 40 minutes, her head, that means when she started making the use of the resources on her hair to repair it, in 40 minutes her hair was covered with tiny close-lying curls, and because of that she was looking like a wonderful truant schoolboy. Dear students, truant means a schoolboy who hardly goes to school, who always stays away from the school. She looked at her reflection in the mirror long, carefully and critically. That means she started looking at her reflection in the mirror and thinking, and critically she was thinking about her hair. If Jim doesn't kill me, she said to herself, before he takes a second look at me, he will say I look like a Coney Island chorus girl. But what could I do? Oh, what could I do with $1.87? She was thinking, she was talking to herself that before Jim will take a second look at me, he will not kill me. He will think that I am looking like a singing girl. This she was talking to herself, and she was also asking to herself that what could she do with $1.87, the money which was left with her. At 7 o'clock, the coffee was made and the frying pan was on the back of the stove hot and ready to cook the chops. At 7 o'clock in the evening, she made the coffee and the frying pan was on the stove and it was ready to cook the meat. Jim was never late. Della doubled the fob chain in her hand and sat on the corner of the table near the door that he always entered. That means she was waiting nervously for Jim. He was never late, but that day he was late. She was waiting for him. She had doubled the fob chain in her hand and sat on the corner table near the door through which Jim has to enter. Then she heard his steps on the stairs and she turned white for just a moment. That means when she heard that Jim is coming, she turned white for just a moment. That means she had been nervous. She had a habit for saying silent prayers about the simplest things, simplest everyday things, and now she whispered, please God, make him think I'm still pretty. Now she is praying to God to make Jim think that Della is still looking pretty after the haircut. So now, dear students, this is the time for the word meanings. That the meanings are given here. Panting, this was in the previous video. That means breathing with short, quick breaths from excursion or excitement. Ransacking, that means searching thoroughly, where Della was searching for the gift through the whole market. Fob, a chain attached to a watch for carrying in waistcoat or a waistband pocket. That was the gift that she was searching. She had purchased for her husband's chest without unnecessary ornamentation. That means a very simple and pure design. Intoxication, that means excitement, prudence, skill, and good judgment in the use of resources. That means she was very skilled to use the resources to repair the damages. Ravages means heavy damage. And truant, one who stays away from school. So let's come to the next page, dear students. The door opened. And Jim stepped in and closed it. He looked thin. He looked thin and very serious. Poor fellow, he was only 22 and to be burdened with a family. He needed a new overcoat and he was without gloves. When the door opened and Jim stepped inside, he closed the door. He was looking very thin and very serious. He was such a poor fellow. He was only 22 years old and he has a burden of his family. That means he has to take care of his wife. He needed a new overcoat and he was without gloves. This shows the financial condition of the couple. Jim stopped inside the door. His eyes were fixed upon Della, and there was an expression in them that she could not read, and it terrified her. When Jim stopped inside the door, his eyes were fixed upon Della. He started looking at Della, but there was an expression in them that Della could not read, and this had terrified Della. It was not anger, not surprise, not disapproval, not horror, nor any of the sentiments that she had been prepared for. That means the expression which was there in his eyes, it was not anger, it was not surprise, it was not disapproval, nor horror, nor any of the sentiments that Della had thought for. He simply stared at her fixedly with that peculiar expression on his face. He was just looking at her face without any movement, with that strange expression on his face. Della wriggled off the table and went for him. That means Della had moved off the table and she went near Jim. Jim, darling, she cried, don't look at me that way. She had told to Jim, dear Jim, don't look at me in this way. I had my hair cut off and sold because I couldn't have lived through Christmas without giving you a present. She was saying that, how can I live without giving you a Christmas gift? It will grow out again. That means my hair will grow out again. Don't worry, don't mind it. Will you? I just had to do it. That means she had to do it because she was not having enough money to purchase the gift. My hair grows awfully fast. She was saying that her hair grows very, very fast. Say Merry Christmas, Jim, and let's be happy. She was telling to Jim. She was wishing Jim, say Merry Christmas to me and let's be happy. You don't know what a nice and wonderful gift I have brought for you. Jim, very laboriously, he was asking. Laboriously means taking pain, taking an exertion, an effort. He asked Jim, you have cut off your hair? Cut it off and sold it, said Della. Don't you like me just as well anyhow? I am me without my hair, aren't I? She told. Yes, I have cut my hair off and sold it. But don't you like me just as I am? Anyhow, I am the same Della without my hair also, isn't it? She was asking to Jim that even if I have got my hair cut, then also I am the same Della. I am the same person. cut it off and sold it. Okay. Jim looked about the room curiously. Jim started looking in the room curiously. That means he wanted to see something. He was searching something. You say your hair is gone, he said with an almost of idiocy. Very stupidly he had asked, that you say your hair is gone? You needn't look for it, said Della. It is sold. That means he was searching in the room, her hair, that where she had kept after cutting it. You needn't look for it, said Della. It is sold. I tell you, sold and gone. Too. It's Christmas Eve. Boy, be good to me. For it went for you. That means she is saying that, dear Jim, just be good to me as I have sold my hair for you, for purchasing a gift for you. Maybe the hairs of my head were numbered, she went on with sudden serious sweetness, but nobody could ever count my love for you. Shall I put on the chips, Jim? She had told. She was convincing Jim that maybe the hair of my head can be counted, but nobody can ever count my love for you. And after that, she told Jim that she put the meat on to cook. Jim drew a package from his overcoat pocket and threw it upon the table. After that, it was the turn of Jim to present her a gift. He had taken out a packet from his overcoat pocket and he had thrown it on the table. Don't make any mistake, Della, he said, about me. But if you will unwrap that package, you may see why you had me going wild at first. He was saying that don't make any mistake about me, Della, that why I am so surprised, why I am so shocked to see you hairless, without hair. But when you will open that package, you will see why I had been like that. White fingers and nimble toe at the string and paper. That means Della started opening that package with her white fingers very slowly, with a very slow movement and slow and fast movement, soft and fast movement. Then an ecstatic scream of joy. That means she felt very joyful. She was excited to see what is there. And then, alas, a quick feminine change to hysterical tears and wails. Suddenly she became uncontrolled. Tears came out from her eyes, and she started wailing, necessitating the immediate employment of all the controlling power of the lord of the flat. That means she had become so uncontrolled that in the whole flat there was a need of the comforting powers of the God, immediate need of the comforting powers of the Lord that can control her. For there lay the combs, the set of combs that Della had worshipped long in a Broadway window. Beautiful combs, pure tortoise shell with jeweled rims. They were expensive combs, she knew, and her heart had simply craved and yearned over them without the least hope of possession. That means she liked that combs so much and she desired it for a very long time. It was a beautiful set of combs which was made up of pure tortoise shell with jeweled rims around it. But she knew that she liked it too much, but she also knew that she cannot have it. That means she had no hope of possession of those combs. And now they were hers. And now these combs were hers. But the traces that should have adorned the coveted adornments were gone. That means now she had got those combs, but her long hair that should have been decorated with these adornments were not there. They were gone. But she hugged them to her bosom, and at length she was able to look up with dim eyes and a smile and say, "My hair grows so fast, Jim, But then also she had hugged those combs to her bosom, her uh, and at length she was able to look up with dim eyes and a smile, and she again tried to say, Jim, that her hair grows so fast, so Jim need not worry. And then Della leaped up like a singed cat and cried, oh, oh. And Della just started crying like a burned cat. Jim had not yet seen his beautiful present. She held it out to him eagerly upon her open palm. The dull, precious metal seemed to flash with a reflection of her bright and ardent spirit. Till now, yet, Jim had not seen what present Della had brought for him. It was in the palm of Della. The dull, precious metal, it was seemed to flash with a reflection of her bright and passionate spirit what she had for Jim. Isn't it dandy? Isn't it a dandy, Jim? She was showing it to Jim and she told, isn't it a very excellent thing of its kind? That means she wanted to see this gift. Isn't it a very unique piece and it is made for you only? I hunted all over the town to find it. You will have to look at the time 100 times a day now. Give me your watch. I want to see how it looks on it. That means this is the situation that what she had brought. She had brought the fork chain for the watch of Jim, and now she is asking for the watch. That give me the watch. I will see how it is looking on it. Instead of obeying, Jim tumbled down on the couch and put his hand under the back of his head and smiled. Instead of listening to Della what she was saying, Jim fell down on the couch very clumsily and put his hands under the back of his head and he smiled. Della, said he, let's put our Christmas presents away and keep them a while. Jim was saying, let's put our Christmas presents away from us. We will keep them away for a while. They are too nice to use just at present. They are very nice, but they can't be used at this time. I sold the watch to get the money to buy your combs, and now suppose you put the chops on. He said very simply to Della that he had sold the watch to get the combs. This was the condition for what Della had brought the chain. The watch was not there, and what Jim has brought the combs for her hair, and her hair was not there. So this shows the sacrifice made by these two characters of this story, that how much they loved each other and they have sacrificed their most precious thing to buy gifts for each other. The Magi, as you know, were the wise men, wonderfully wise men, who brought gifts to the babe in the manger. Dear students, do you know Magi? They were the wise men. They were wonderfully wise men. These are the people, these are the three men who had brought gifts to Jesus Christ when he was born. They invented the art of giving Christmas presents. This was the first time that they had brought the gift and they had started the art, the tradition of giving Christmas presents. Being wise, their gifts were no doubt wise ones, possibly bearing the privilege of exchange in case of duplication. And here I have lamely related to you the uneventful chronicle of two foolish children in a flat who most unwisely sacrificed for each other the greatest treasures of their house. Dear students, the Magi, these were the people, these were three men, those who had brought the gifts for Jesus Christ when he was born. And from that day, the art of giving Christmas, the tradition of giving Christmas presents was started. Here the people, they were shown Jim and Della. Here we can see that Jim and Della were also called Magi by the author because they each show wisdom. That means they are wise like the three men. It means the Magi is the plural of magus, means a wise man. And it was the three Magi, or you can say the three wise people who brought gifts for the baby Jesus in Bethlehem. According to the story of Magi, these three people, they traveled far and long in order to find Jesus and give their gifts to him. However, the gifts and the long journey were great sacrifices for these three men. They symbolized their deep love they had for Jesus. Same way, these two characters, they had shown their deep love and sacrifice for each other, and for that they have sold the greatest treasures of their house. In this way, they are the wisest of all the people. Of all people who give and receive gifts, these two characters are the wisest. Everywhere they are the wisest, and that is why they are the Magi. That means they are saying they are the Magi, the wise man, because they have sacrificed their most precious thing for each other, to show their loves for each other. Dear students, let's come for the meaning, word and meaning. Tresses, long flowing hair. Adorned, beautified or decorated, coveted, greatly desired for something, when you envied for something. Adornment, something that adorns or decorates. Synced, that is burnt. Ardent, passionate, when you are very passionate about, you are having a passion of that thing. Dandy, an excellent thing of its kind, that means very unique. Tumbled, fell suddenly, clumsily. Uneventful chronicle, a fictitious or factful work describing an unmemorable event. So how unmemorable event it was, and how sad it was, sad moment it was, that these two children, how unwisely they sacrificed for each other the greatest treasures of their house. So these are the two questions that you have to answer orally, and the fill in the blanks, that is the gift of the Magi, is written by O. Henry. After buying a gift for Jim, the amount left with Della was $1.87. Jim was 22 years old. The Magi brought gifts for the babe in the manger. And this all I had explained. You have to listen the video and then you will understand the answer of these questions. Della had saved money for Jim's gift by, students, which answer is correct? Yes. B. Haggling with the grocer, the vegetable man and the butcher. Della had exceptionally beautiful hair that was more valuable than the jewels and gifts of Queen of Sheba. Jim's gold watch would have made even King Solomon envy him. So this was your chapter, this was the story. Now let's discuss the theme of this story. Can anyone tell me what moral, what lesson you are getting from this chapter? Yes, dear students, the moral of the story, the theme of the story is that love and sacrifice, that you have seen in both the characters. In the story, both the characters show love one another by sacrificing whatever they had. Whatever they had, it is not only that. That means whatever precious things they had for each other, they had shown for, they had sold it for each other. And this shows that the best gift is not a material or an item, but a true love. So in this way, dear students, you can see the story. I hope you have understood the story very well, and you have enjoyed it, and you have learnt it. So prepare this chapter, read this chapter, and try to discuss the question answers. So that's all, dear students. Thank you.